Her name was Sarah, and she was 34 years old. Every evening, she walked past the same small bookstore on her way home from work. The shop was old. The sign was faded. The window was full of books that looked like they had been there for many years. Sarah always slowed down when she passed it, but she never went inside. She worked in a busy office. Phones rang, people talked, screens were always bright. By the time she left work, her head felt full and tired. She lived alone in a small apartment. It was clean. It was quiet. Sometimes it was too quiet. She made simple dinners. She watched simple shows. She went to bed early. Her life was not bad, but it felt small. Every night when she walked home, she looked at the bookstore window. Inside, there was a small lamp. It gave warm yellow light. She often thought, maybe tomorrow. But tomorrow always became the next day. One evening, it started to rain. Not strong rain, just soft, slow rain. Sarah did not have an umbrella. She walked faster, but her hair and coat still got wet. When she reached the bookstore, she stopped. The rain felt colder. She looked at the window. The warm light was still there. Before she could think too much, she pushed the door and went inside. A small bell rang. The air inside smelled like old paper and wood. It was quiet, very quiet. There were shelves everywhere. Tall shelves, short shelves, shelves full of books with thick covers and thin covers. Behind a small desk sat an old man. He had gray hair and round glasses. He looked up and smiled. "Good evening," he said. "Good evening," Sarah said softly. She felt a little shy. She did not know why. "Take your time," the old man said. "The rain is not going anywhere." She smiled a little. She walked slowly between the shelves. Her fingers touched the books. Some were very old. Some looked new. She did not know what she was looking for. She just liked being there. After a few minutes, she picked up a small book. It was thin. The cover was light blue. She opened it. The first line said, "Sometimes the quiet parts of life are the most important." She closed the book and held it to her chest for a second. Then she took it to the desk. The old man looked at it and nodded. "That's a good one," he said. She paid and left the shop. That night at home, she made tea and sat on her bed. She opened the book and started to read. She did not read fast. She read slowly. And for the first time in a long time, she did not look at her phone before sleeping. The next evening, she walked past the bookstore again. She slowed down. Then she went inside. The bell rang. The old man smiled. "Welcome back," he said. She did not know why, but those words felt warm. She started to come more often. Sometimes she bought a book. Sometimes she just looked. Sometimes she talked to the old man. His name was Mr. Harris. He had owned the shop for many years. "My wife loved this place," he said one day. "After she was gone, I kept it open for both of us." Sarah did not know what to say, so she just listened. One evening, she saw a man standing near the history shelf. He looked about her age, maybe a little older. He was holding a book and looking very confused. She walked past him. Then she stopped. "Are you looking for something?" she asked. He looked at her and smiled, a little embarrassed. "Yes," he said, "but I don't know what." She laughed quietly. "That happens to me too," she said. They talked a little. His name was Daniel. He worked nearby. He also came to the shop to be quiet. After that, sometimes they were there at the same time. They did not plan it. It just happened. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they just read. One evening, Daniel said, "Do you want to get coffee next door?" Sarah was surprised. Her first thought was to say no, but then she thought of the rain and the first night and the warm light. "Yes," she said. "Okay." They sat in the small cafe next to the bookstore. They talked about simple things: work, books, the city. It felt easy, not loud, not heavy, just easy. Weeks passed. The bookstore became part of Sarah's life. So did Daniel. One evening, she came and saw a sign on the door, "Closed tomorrow." She felt a small worry in her chest. Inside, Mr. Harris was putting books into boxes. "Are you okay?" she asked. He smiled. "I'm moving to my son's house. It's time." Her heart felt heavy. "What will happen to the shop?" she asked. He looked around. "I don't know," he said. "Maybe someone new will take it. Maybe not." The next day, Sarah and Daniel came together. They helped him carry boxes. At the end, the shop was quiet and empty. Mr. Harris closed the door. "Thank you," he said. When he left, Sarah stood and looked at the dark window. "It feels like the end of something," she said. Daniel nodded. "Or maybe the start of something else." Days passed. The shop stayed closed. The street felt different. Sarah still walked past it every evening. One day, there was a new sign: "For rent." She stopped and looked at it for a long time. That night, she did not sleep well. In the morning, she had an idea. It was a small idea, and it scared her. She went to work. She looked at her screen. It felt very far away. That evening, she stood in front of the old bookstore again. Daniel was there. "I was thinking," she said slowly, "what if this place didn't have to disappear?" He looked at her. "What do you mean?" "What if it could be something new?" she said. Still quiet, still full of stories. They stood in silence. A week later, Sarah stood in a small office and signed some papers. Her hands were shaking. Daniel was there. He smiled at her. 2 months later, the shop opened again. The sign was new, but simple. Inside, there were books and a small cafe and warm light. Sarah stood behind the desk. Sometimes, when the shop was quiet, she remembered the woman she was before, the woman who only walked past. She smiled. Some doors are very quiet, but when you open them, your whole life can change.